Welcome back everyone to the Spearhead cast. With me, Matt. We have a 1v1 for you all on the Western Front. Let's go through the players. Representing the Germans, we have Sean as Sturm Tactics for the Waffen-SS. Representing the Allies, we have Unterkommander. Unterkommander? Yeah. As Royal Guard with specialization in Anvil. Ooh. On a winter map too. This is Winter Langriskaya. So I believe this is a 100% vanilla map. So this should be fascinating. Very rare we see winter maps being used, especially in the 1v1. Looks like, oh yeah, because Winter Commander went for Anvil's Guard, you get an extra man in your rifle sections, which is a really big deal. Like seriously, that is a huge factor. And ooh, those units that we're actually playing with winter effects. I just saw the thermometer show about the Storm Grenadiers, so people can actually get cold and freeze to death. Ooh, this is gonna be quite a cold day then. Technically, all the winters during World War II were extremely cold for the century. However, the coldest I believe was 39 to 40, so that was quite fortunate for all the parts involved because there's not too much fighting in that one. But generally, just all the winters in World War II would be really, really cold. Anyway, we have Storm Grenadiers following up by Vallonians. I wonder if we'll see Vallonian spam. Probably not, considering they changed them a little bit. Still, it's cool to see them actually being utilized. They are a cheaper infantry version you can basically get if you're playing a Sturm. Only 240 instead of 300. So it's useful to have them on the field. And we're in the second one, okay. They can also merge into other squads, which is a useful ability. And now the Sappers have engaged the Sturm Pioneers. First shots of the battle fired. Looks like a long range. The Sappers are going to have that engagement covered thanks to their Lee Enfields. And the Royal Fusiliers are just slowly moving out and setting up defenses. Langriskaya is a pretty classic. It's a pretty classic World War One, Company of Heroes 1 map as well, I believe. Not just called Langriskaya. I think it's called Langrest or something. It was given a Russian-esque name to fit with the whole Eastern Front theme that Company of Heroes 2 had at the start before it added the Allies.
Machine gun crew awaiting orders.
There was a Vickers coming up for the British, so they're really investing heavily here. They can store the Germans. Everyone's going very heavy into Tier 1. The Royal Fusiliers should have this covered thanks to their extra man. Germans definitely need to get a little bit more territory secured. The Storm Grenadiers are actually getting some good shots off. Yeah, they've actually evened it out. Impressive. Guess I gotta show how good Storm Grenadiers are, but oh, they lost the man. The more men they lose, the more that's gonna hurt. But the second Storm Grenadier too, so 2 Vallonians and 2 Storm Grenadiers. That's a pretty effective force. You just need to get moving. They can set up here for the British in the center. That's gonna cover a lot of area. Definitely gotta prevent the Germans from getting that munitions point. Yep, that's gonna be a big problem there. Vallonians have already been pinned, so those guys cannot do much. Storm Grenadiers coming down to replace and relieve the troops are already under fire. Because he's playing as Sturm, he could actually get an MG30 on his squad. But he's going for the MG42, which is not a bad call. But you can also go for the MG30 on top of it, so you can have a lot of extra machine gun firepower. Which your Storm Grenadier is kinda powerful in that regard. Well, it looks like the Vallonians are just back at baseline trying to keep warm. MG34 coming out for them. Push the British off that little point. Storm Pioneers also trying to hold up here still. But I think all these British Fusiliers are gonna end up becoming a problem in time. Because that is a lot of rifles. Looks like they're also being armed with marksman rifles. Ooh, that's gonna be lethal. Also a Recce team coming up here. British recon troop. Good for sneaking and keeping an eye on the enemy. Also surprised how good at harassing the front line. The MT-34 is coming up here. Looks like they're freezing. They probably need to get the site quickly. Yep, they're getting inside the building. Very smart. This is going to be some kind of a trench line that's going to be set up by both sides, or defensive line anyway. So you might see a little bit of a static fight. I assume the Storm player is going to try and fight for time until they can get some heavier ordnance. Germans haven't even captured that fuel. Oh, that's going to suck. Yeah, taking up though. And while the balloons and the Storm Pioneers are just trying to hold the line up here. Second Vickers for the British. Oh, the British are going full on into tier 1. Holy shit. That's a heavy tier 1 investment. That could backfire or be good. Who the hell knows? Especially in the 1v1. 1v1 tactics generally are a little bit more, what's it called? Reserved, because you need to worry a lot more about unit preservation. Although you should always worry about unit preservation. But 1v1s it can be a lot more vital to do. Alliance are always starting to be armed with the Sturmgewehrs. No surprise there. As they get access to Sturmgewehrs without any veterancy. It is a costly upgrade though. 60 munitions is not cheap. Here comes the first take-up truck. Question is, where will he set up with it? Back at the base, or will he actually risk it? Germans are moving for fuel point finally. MG-34 is opening fire. Yeah, I don't think the Fusiliers can do much there. And we also have Vallonians waiting behind this area. He's gonna try and clear the cover to give this Vickers more of a side, isn't he? But it's not really working because they have bad pathing. Is the truck gonna sit up here? That's a really risky position. Oh my god, it is. That is exceptionally risky. Especially with the Recce team nearby. Because they already know what's happening. And I imagine the LMG-42 here for the Germans is going to allow them to suppress the Fusiliers. As the LMG-42 is very good for suppression. British are trying to move up here. Sturmgewehrs are cutting them down though, so they try to get it across to the other cover. So the forward headquarters will be set up, but it's a little bit of a risky position, I'd say. Like down here behind this building, I think would have been a better call personally. That's just my opinion. And we're immediately seeing an MG-42 and a pack coming out, as it's afraid of a British vehicle. MG-30 also being armed with these Storm Grenadiers. These Storm Grenadiers are going to be very good at holding a line. Because double machine guns is nothing to stick off at. And well, you can just hear the cold wind overhead. MG-42 coming out though. Much more... Well, actually it's not that different from the MG-34, but it still fires, I believe, 200 or 300 rounds faster than the MG-34. Nothing to scoff at. But it's very similar to the MG-34. Oh my god. We're actually going to see a blizzard. What the hell? Also, we have a Royal Fusilier captain. Now, because he's playing as Royal Guard, all his infantry is 5-man. Or officers, that is. So that means they're combat officers. Always a handy thing. But it needs to set that fire quick. Very hard, very difficult to do it while under machine gun fire, though. He is preparing for the blizzard. Now, I believe the blizzard will also block the usage of command officer abilities. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Let's have a look. Because I've not seen a Blizzard in a 1v1 in like ages, or just overall in the Spearhead. Yes, it does indeed block officer abilities. And he can still see further than normal thanks to the Recce team, but not enough. Now, he needs to worry about cold. Because the British, I don't think have put up a lot of... Oh, actually, they do have some fires, so they should be fine. The cold can be very vital here. Mortar should also be extra inaccurate during the blizzard, so that's also a thing. Yeah, it's so rare we see blizzards actually being used. Yeah, you know, a lot of people don't actually like the cold tech mechanics. It definitely adds a little bit of a different aspect, because look how short your sight range is. You can barely see anything.
Universal carrier built and ready.
And it's going to allow the Germans to actually take the munitions point. Because neither side can see each other. Also, I cannot select the other German, or at least select the other faction and get to hear their voice lines during a blizzard. That's a funny bug. We're seeing that's a mortar coming in as well as another pack. Okay, the Germans are really investing in defensive measures. Now, the mortar is a good choice simply because of how static the battle has been. But I guess neither side wants to overexert themselves during the winter. It's very hard to fight during the cold, so I don't blame them. Like, fighting in the cold would be utter nightmarish, I think. But here comes the mortar. I do love the winter outfits. They use the Panzergrenadier one from the normal Wehrmacht, and I think it fits really well for them in this kind of environment. So we have a brain carrier as well, armed with a Victor's K. And the blizzard is clearing. And just immediately as the blizzard cleared, everyone started fighting one another. Artillery also being called in on the German positions. Looks like it's going to be 8.7 centimeter high explosive. That's a big deal. The Waffen-SS mortar is up though. Sturmpioneer down. It was a very risky position to put that truck there. Oh, it looks like the Fusiliers cut down a squad. Wow. That happened quick. Another Pack 40 coming up. The British AT gun is opening fire on the truck. Very cheeky. There we go, now we can select the Germans again. That was awkward. Anyway, it looks like the first building is gonna go down here because of the 6-pounder. Yeah, so I don't think the Germans can salvage that. That's a problem. Overall, this German position is not the healthiest at the moment.
Ready for action. Set the position. Lay the ground for HQ.
So that pack probably has to pull back, I'd say. It's still trying to get off a high explosive though, by the looks of it. Nope, it wouldn't be able to. I think that mortar has to keep working though. Oh! Yeah, it killed someone. Fusilier is still holding up down here. Because their marksman rifle, they should do okay. Especially against Valonians. Because the Valonians are not close enough to make a difference at the moment.
Regimental HQ mechanized unit will be here.
Instead of a mechanized command instead. The Germans are taking heavy losses, and the British now have a lieutenant out as well. Another 5-man squad because they're royal guard. Yep, the 6-pounder got too close to the MT-42. Oh, Recce team is down thanks to the mortar. That's going to be a good boon for the Germans. They probably needed that. Got a Recce team coming in to replace, but the British not going for any vehicles despite having the fuel, so wonder what the plan is. Because they could have gone for like the 3-inch or the 2-inch. Probably the 3-inch would be better in all honesty. They already have one, I think. Oh, they have 3. They have 2 3-inches. My bad. That's plenty of mortar fire. Indeed, that's German mortar decrewed. One guy running off, and to get off the battlefield. This time he's going to set it a little bit further back, which is a smart move. And now the British are getting a Valentine. That's going to definitely work. The Germans do have the ability to get some light armor support now if they want. Valonians used to recruit the pack. Smart.
Ready to execute.
You can also use the Valonians to just add more members once he... Oh my god, he's sitting up close again. Sitting up a little bit further back. And he actually cancelled it. Or because he wants something else. Oh, he called in a sniper, okay. You have an SS sniper on the field. Unique unit to SS Sturm, I'm pretty sure, and also unique unit to I believe, Wehrmacht Ostlegion? Because there's very few doctrines that actually get snipers for the Germans. But Sturm gets the sniper. We'll see what he does. But now there is a Valentine on the field. Oh, that looks very bad. That's the opportunity to move, and the pack is not even set up. Now it's setting up. Mobilizing, very good. That pack is basically sitting. That Valentine's basically sitting ducks. It's trying to smoke though. But I don't think they're gonna have the means to save it. You think that MG42 has to get out of there though? Artillery being called into. Puma on the fields.
Ready for duty.
There we go, Puma coming up, but the Puma I don't think can actually beat a Valentine frontally.
Ready for action. Prepare for combat. Enemy Panther.
The Puma should probably flank around up there instead of trying to engage it frontally. That's a bad move. Yeah, there goes the engine. It did take out the main gun though. But the position is vulnerable, they're starting enough to hold the line. More artillery being called in. Yeah, there's not enough troops here to hold the line for the Germans. But the Puma is still holding on somehow. And artillery took out the pack. There goes the Puma. And truck is down again.
Battle Puma headquarters has been destroyed. A mobile command vehicle has been dispatched.
So we're seeing a Goliath called in. Probably a pretty good choice because the British have no AT guns at the moment. Or no boys AT rifles, I mean. So for 100 missions he's calling in a Goliath. which can be a pretty funny little weapon. Yeah, but the Valonians are not going to handle enough here. There's too many British troops in the field. But the Valentine's gun is almost operational, and if that shoots the Goliath is gone. Again, the Valentine is ready again. Here come the Goliath, though. Yeah, the Valentine hit it. Heads are coming out. Looks like it might be a Flamhetzer because he is playing a Sturm. Where's the Beams of the fort base here? The British are getting the upper hand at the moment. This pack needs to turn. Especially because the Valentine is flanking. As the sniper is freezing, he needs to get behind cover. We'll get to some warmth. British mortars opening fire now. But the Germans do not have anything to counter it with. More double mortars being prepared and another Valentine. Unfortunately for the British, that is in range of the German base defenses, so that's a bad position. I don't think the Flamhetzer will do too much of this and can get close. That said, it is a very scary weapon. It's basically a giant flamethrower on tracks. But we're gonna see 4 3-inch mortars soon. That's a lot of mortar firepower. And they managed to flank the Valentine.
Command is issuing a blizzard advisory. All units are to prepare for extreme weather conditions.
Fire from the engine! We're hold! Help! No power from the engine! We're hold! Help! Attacking our flankmen, cheeky bastards! No power from the engine!
British gonna reman the AT gun.
Get that sight fixed! Come on! Watch out! They're hitting our jam! Clear it! No power from the engine! On a hit!
And there goes the Hetzer.
Drive round like you ain't my battlefield!
And the Recce team is just hiding here, keeping a good eye on the Germans, but they need to get behind cover because Blizzard is gonna come soon, and I do not think the British Recce team can survive out in the cold. They are calling coordinated light artillery though, which I think all the mortars are gonna hit accurately. Yep.
Extreme winter conditions reported.
So now all these mortars are gonna hit very accurately. See, now that's a good combined use of mortars and recon. People generally underestimate that. So recon can really direct artillery pretty well. As we can see, it's doing a lot of damage to the German front line.
Ready for orders. Ready for orders.
I think the British have this handled. It doesn't look like the Germans have much left. They got another Flamhetzer in, probably just in desperation. They need something to try and hold. Many of the British Fusiliers are going to be freezing though. They just will have fire though. They need to do it quick. Yep, that Fusilier squad is freezing. He needs to notice that. It's going to start losing members in it. The cold can be pretty dangerous.
Losing men to the cold.
Yep, they're freezing, but they moved up to some fire afterwards. A good usage of the mortars here, I will say. Just by using that Recce team to do a coordinated artillery strike.
Our infantry are ready to hold the line.
That's a good use of the 3-inch. And people say mortars are bad. You just need to use them correctly. Oh no, those sappers are freezing too. Oh my god, we're also gonna see the heavy mortar. The 4.2-inch with the British Guards and artillery gets access to. Pretty powerful mortar. I don't think the Germans have the resource to do anything at this point. They've lost a lot of troops. And the British are just... Oh my god, that's a lot of stuff for the British that are just waiting to be used.
The weather front is weakening. Normal weather is to be expected.
And here comes the Valentine. The pack is not even turning. This is too focused on using the Flamhetzer.
Enemy infantry killed.
You need to learn to pay attention on multiple things at once when you play this game.
Winter advisory is lifted. Return to normal operations.
And the Germans are basically completely out of troops at this point. And Sniper's not going to do much against all these British troops coming. There goes the British, not the British, the SS Sniper. The British push up aggressively. I think it's over for the German at this point.
Anti-tank gun destroyed.
That's another one for King and Country, I feel like.
Ready to move.
Especially as the Valentines prepare to push into the base.
Under fire from enemy bastards. We've been promoted.
Yeah, the Flamhetzer's not going to do much, I think. And there we go, the Germans surrender just after starting to burn that Fusilier squad. Well, that was an interesting one. We don't really see 1v1s much often in the Blizzard conditions. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you on the next one, everyone. Bye bye!